Emmerdale's Robert Sugden is not short of enemies next week, yet he has an unexpected ally in ex-husband Aaron Dingle. Despite recent tensions, Aaron kindly gives Robert hope for the future. Is this a sign that Robrin could reunite one day? Robert's feeling pretty despondent and even thinks about leaving the village, our Emmerdale insider explains. But it's Aaron who talks him around. Despite the trouble Robert has caused, Aaron persuades his ex to stay in the village, an act which sees Robert decide to put down roots. It's after John exposes some incriminating information about Robert to the rest of the village this week that his brother gets cast out in the cold. Suspicious of Robert, John secretly places a listening device at his house, and unearths some dirt which makes life rather awkward for Rob. Meanwhile, Robert's also trying to dig up information on John, and with the two rivals circling each other, John is keen to keep Rob close as he tries to persuade Aaron to go easy on Robert. However, when the trio come face to face at the shop, the situation becomes uncomfortable, and John leaves. With Robert and Aaron left alone, Rob takes the chance to clear the air and tries to call a truce over a coffee. As Aaron listens to his ex-hubby's words, he's moved when Robert hints that he's thinking about leaving, reveals our source. Aaron reassures him that, despite everything that has happened, he is valued in the village. Aaron's words certainly buoy Robert, as he decides to press ahead with a plan. Robert knows he's a long way from winning back Aaron, but his words certainly make him think there is a possibility of a brighter future. So, he decides it's time to cement his place in the village. Later, we see Robert standing on Annie's field, the land he bought from Moira Dingle. Although he was supposed to be acting as a front for Kim Tate in the purchase, Robert pulled out at the last minute, realizing that the land has a lot more value to Kim than she was letting on. After Moira confronts Robert about his intentions for the land, Victoria arrives and Robert unveils his plan. He tells shocked Vic that he wants them to farm the land together, just as their ancestors did before them. While Victoria is surprised by the turn of events, it means that Robert is planning to stay in the village long-term. But with him and John both hell-bent on outsmarting the other, has the battle for Aaron's heart only just begun? Emmerdale. Robert Sugden battles old demons, rivalry with John explodes, but Aaron offers an olive branch. Tensions simmer and loyalties are tested in Emmerdale next week, as Robert Sugden finds himself backed into a corner once again. His past misdeeds are catching up with him, enemies are circling, and whispers around the village grow louder. But in a twist few saw coming, it's his former husband Aaron Dingle who becomes his unexpected lifeline. As Robert faces social exile and growing pressure from his half-brother John Sugden, the last thing he expects is kindness from Aaron. Their history is anything but simple, marked by passionate love, betrayal, heartbreak, and long-held resentment. Yet when Robert considers leaving the village for good, it's Aaron who reminds him where he belongs. And so begins a powerful new chapter for Robert Sugden, one laced with redemption, unfinished business, and a renewed desire to rebuild, not only his life but the legacy of the Sugdens. A man on the brink. Robert has never been the most popular man in Emmerdale, but he's managed to keep a foothold in the village through resilience, charm, and sheer tenacity. Still, the damage from his past continues to follow him like a shadow. Next week, things come to a head when Robert becomes the center of a major village scandal, thanks in large part to his increasingly antagonistic brother, John. John, still a relative newcomer to the Dales, is on a mission to cement his place in the Sugden dynasty. He sees Robert as both a threat and a liability, someone whose unpredictable behavior and shady dealings could tarnish the family name. And when he catches wind of something suspicious happening under Robert's roof, John sets a trap. John plants a listening device in Robert's home, reveals a production insider. It's underhanded and invasive, but it yields exactly the kind of information John was hoping for. What John overhears is enough to stir the pot. He leaks the information in subtle ways, letting suspicions brew until the village turns its back on Robert. From the cafe to the woolpack, Rob finds himself the subject of knowing glances and quiet judgment. He's feeling totally isolated, our insider adds. Even people who once gave him the benefit of the doubt are starting to question his motives. He begins to wonder if there's any future left for him in Emmerdale. Robert seriously considers leaving. After years of fighting to stay grounded in the village, of battling guilt and ghosts, he's beginning to think that a fresh start might be his only option. A chance encounter, and an olive branch. It's during one of these low moments that Robert crosses paths with Aaron and John outside the shop. The atmosphere is thick with tension, old wounds, unsaid truths, and new rivalries simmer beneath the surface. John, ever the tactician, steps away first, leaving Robert and Aaron awkwardly alone. It's then that Robert makes a move no one expected. He invites Erin for coffee. For viewers, this moment marks the first genuine attempt at connection between the former lovers in a long time. Their relationship, Robran, to fans, was once one of the most compelling in soap history. Intense, destructive, but deeply romantic, it left a lasting mark on both characters and viewers alike. Erin's hesitant at first, says the source. But there's something about Robert's vulnerability that breaks through his defenses. He sees a man who's hurting. A man who still doesn't fully know how to ask for help. Over coffee, the conversation is stilted at first. Then Robert opens up. He confesses he's thinking about leaving the village. He talks about the mounting pressure, the judgment, the isolation. It's a rare moment of honesty from a man who usually hides behind sarcasm and deflection. Erin listens quietly, and what he says next is something even he doesn't expect. He tells Robert he still matters, our insider explains. He reminds him that for all his flaws, he belongs in the village. And that it's never too late to build something new. The past can't be erased, but the future is unwritten. Erin's words spark something in Robert. They don't magically erase the pain or the past, but they light a fire of possibility, a hope that maybe he can start over. That maybe redemption isn't completely out of reach. And so, Robert makes a choice. He decides to stay, but he also knows that staying means doing something different. He can't just survive in the village, he needs to thrive. He needs to belong. And that's when he reveals a plan no one saw coming. Later in the week, Robert is seen standing on Annie's field, the stretch of land he recently bought from Moira Dingle. It's a symbolic location, tied deeply to the Sugden family legacy. And although he initially agreed to act as a proxy buyer for Kim Tate, Robert had a change of heart. He realized the land meant more to Kim than she was letting on, our source says. So instead of following through with the deal, he pulled out. That's when he had the idea to do something meaningful with it, something that honored his family's history. Moira confronts Robert about his real intentions. Tired of secrets and double-dealing, she demands honesty. It's then that Victoria arrives, just in time to hear Robert's big reveal. He wants to farm the land, with her. It's a shocking announcement, especially coming from someone whose past is so entangled with betrayal and manipulation. But this time, Robert is serious. He wants to go back to his roots, literally and emotionally, and build something with Victoria that not only strengthens their bond as siblings, but also brings pride back to the Sugden name. Victoria's doubts, and a glimmer of trust. Victoria is initially taken aback. After everything Robert has done, especially the lies, schemes, and heartaches, she struggles to believe he's genuinely turning over a new leaf. She questions his motives, of course, says our insider. But she also sees a change in him. There's sincerity there, a willingness to work hard and stay grounded. It's not the Robert she used to know. Though hesitant, Victoria agrees to consider the proposal. She knows their ancestors built a legacy on that very soil. Perhaps reclaiming it, together, can be the start of something new for them both. The rivalry reignites. But just as Robert starts planting the seeds of a better future, John intensifies his efforts to sabotage him. The tension between the brothers grows more toxic by the day. John, sensing his grip on the Sugden legacy slipping, decides to double down. He begins planting his own narratives around the village, hinting that Robert's new land venture is just another scheme. That he's using Victoria, that he's manipulating Erin. The rivalry between Robert and John is about more than land or inheritance, our source reveals. It's about identity, about which of them has the right to call themselves the true heir to the Sugden legacy. And caught in the middle is Erin. John, aware of Robran's history, attempts to sway Erin with his version of events. He warns Erin that getting close to Robert again will only end in heartbreak. But Erin, older and wiser than before, is beginning to see through John's charm. He's not ready to run back into Robert's arms, but he's also not prepared to throw him to the wolves. A battle for legacy, land, and love? As the week draws to a close, Emmerdale sets the stage for a new kind of battle. Robert is working hard to forge a new life, but John is determined to drag him back down. And with Erin's loyalty being pulled in both directions, the emotional stakes couldn't be higher. There's definitely a triangle forming, hints our source. Not in the traditional romantic sense, but in terms of influence, connection, and future potential. Both Robert and John want Erin's trust. And they'll go to great lengths to earn, or manipulate, it. But perhaps the biggest question hanging in the air is this: could Robran ever reunite? It's too soon to say. The wounds are still raw, the past still unresolved. But Erin's quiet support this week opens a door that many fans thought was closed forever. If Robrin happens again, the insider teases, it won't be sudden. It'll be a slow burn. A journey. And it'll require both of them to grow. But there's hope, and that's a powerful thing in Soapland. Final thoughts. Next week on Emmerdale, Robert Sugden makes the most important decision of his life. To stay, to fight for a future, and to reclaim his family's legacy. With Victoria by his side and Aaron offering a flicker of support, Robert begins the long road to redemption. But with John Sugden pulling strings in the background, determined to win at all costs, the battle lines are drawn. As tension builds, friendships are tested, alliances are forged, and the ghosts of the past threaten to shape the future.